Millions of customers every day invite tradesmen into their house. They trust the tradesman among their belongings, should we say. And 99.9% of tradesmen, I think they respect that. They respect other people's equipment and they respect other people's homes enough not to sort of maybe go into the fridge and drink all their beer or use their toothbrush. I tell you, you couldn't make this stuff up. That is the 0.01% of tradesmen. I don't think there's a lot of tradesmen out there like it, but there's some. And in this podcast, I'm going to tell you some stories that I've heard. Toolbox talks for electricians, helping electricians reduce stress, gain back time, and earn more money. Hello and welcome back once again to Toolbox Talks for Electricians. My name's Ben Poulter, your host, and today I'm going to tell you about the 0.01% of tradesmen that I wouldn't have them working in my house, let alone sort of recommend them to a family and friends. Yeah, I'll tell them the stories about what happened and why I won't have them back in my house, and more likely, that my friends and family are not going to have them tradesmen in the house as well, because you don't want tradesmen to come in and make your life a misery. You just want someone to come in and do the work, and you're paying them your good money as well, so you don't want them to come in and sort of take advantage. And I'm not going to use people's names to say, right, Joe Bloggs did this, Joe Bloggs did that, because I don't think it's fair. They might have changed their ways by now, but I tell you what, they've given me some good stories to tell. And if you are one of the guys that have done this or listening to this, then I'm sorry, mate, but it was funny. So to start off with, this is a story that I've heard, but the guy that did it, he was one of my friends, and I did ask him about it. He goes, yeah, I did that. He didn't really care. He was a plasterer. There was a lot of work going on in this house. They were renovating this property. I wasn't involved in the project because the customer I didn't get along with, but that's a whole nother story. And this customer, he was in there to do the plastering. But then when I asked my mate, how's that job going? He said, yeah, I ain't allowed back there. They kicked me out. And I've never heard of that. A customer kicking someone off site. Straight away, you want to know why? What happened? Go on, tell me the story. Well, this is what he told me. He said when he went there, he likes a bit of tipple like a lot of plasterers do. So he has a few drinks. And rather than going out and taking his drinks to site like some guys do, he thought he'd help himself to the guy's strongbow or beers, whatever he had in the fridge. He said, I tell you what, Ben, I've been doing it a few days. Every time I go there, help myself to the fridge, I get back the next day and it's stocked up. So he didn't care. He didn't mind whatsoever. He just went into the fridge, helped himself for a few beers and just drunk them while he was on site. One, I don't think you should drink at work. It's not a cool thing to do. Two, don't help yourself to the customer's beers. That's just cheeky. And the funny thing is, the reason why he got kicked out, he said the customer come home once and I was sitting on the sofa drinking one of his beers. What the hell did that customer think? He must have thought, what the flip do you think you're doing, mate? Get the hell out of my house. I'm assuming they got another guy to finish the plastering off. But that's a funny story to tell. The guy didn't care either. I don't think he even cares me telling the story. It's pretty funny. And it is completely out of order. You can't help yourself to people's bloody beers or anything in the fridge. Even if you help yourself to someone's like cakes or food in the fridge. I think that's a little bit cheeky. Many customers, they do say, help yourself. They mean help yourself to the tea and biscuits that maybe they've left out. They've left the kettle out, left a few cups, some of their scrappy old mugs that I don't mind tradesmen using. So they leave them out for a tradesman to make themselves a cup of tea, which is fine. But no, you can't go into their fridge and say, well, he said help themselves, so I'm making a sandwich. I think that's pretty cheeky. Some customers probably don't mind. But no, I couldn't help myself to go into someone's fridge and make myself a sandwich. That's just out of order. But some customers, they do. They always say, would you like a drink, mate? And if it's past sort of 12 o'clock or around about 4 o'clock if you're working late, they'll say, do you want a beer? I always say, no, I'm all right for cheers, because I've got to drive home anyway, and I'm a bit of a lightweight, so if I have a beer, I'm a bit lightheaded, and I don't want to be driving home a bit lightheaded. I know you can get away having one beer, but it's still drink driving to me. There's no point. If I'm going to have a beer, I'm going to have at least 3. So yeah, helping yourself to a customer's beer, yeah, it's not cool, I don't think. But it is, like I say, it's a funny story to tell. Now, this next story, it's a little bit, I don't know. It's something I don't agree with. I did a job at this house. I was doing the electrics and I recommended the plumber. They said, do you know a decent plumber? So I got in contact with a decent plumber, got him to come around there, do some plumbing work. But the plasterer, I didn't know, didn't recommend him. But they called me up and said, Ben, do you mind just popping round? We need to have a word. And I assumed there was maybe something tripping off or something wrong with the electrics. But I stood in their kitchen and they said, Ben, how well do you know this plumber? And I said, I know him pretty well. I went to school with him. He's a good lad and he's a good plumber. Is anything wrong with his work? They said, no, well, we had £300 go missing out of a bedside table. And that grinds my gears. Even though it wasn't me, I know it wasn't me, being accused or being questioned in a way to say, look, did you take some money off me from a customer? It's rude. I said 100%, I don't think the plumber would have took any money from you. I think they trusted me, the customer, so they didn't even question whether I took it. But I said, well, who else has been in the house? Well, we had a couple of plasterers to do in there, and we weren't too sure about one of the lads that was plastering. I said, I tell you what, give them a ring, get them to come round. I'll be here as well because I don't agree with that. I don't agree with stealing from customers, and I will help you question them, and you can maybe get a feeling out. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm a big hard man or anything like that, but I just wanted to find out who took the money. You can't take money from customers' houses. It's just not right. And it makes my blood sort of boil. You're thinking of somebody getting invited into your house to do some work, and they're going to actually pay you with their hard-earned cash, but someone thinks I'm just going to take it anyway and get paid. So I'm assuming that he took a load of money off him and he got paid for the job. Now that's pretty rude, don't you think? And I do get it. You do stumble across people's belongings and people's money sometimes. But even if I'm pulling a bedside cabinet out of the way, or I'm pulling anything apart, pulling a washing machine out and I find a couple of quid or even a couple of pence behind that washing machine, I'll put it on the side and I'll say to the customer, look, there's a couple of pence there or a couple of pound there for maybe your kid's money box. I remember one job I did, it was an extractor fan. I took the extractor fan grills down because I was taking it out and a load of cash fell out. That was his hiding place. If he's listening to this, sorry mate, I've just give away your stash. But he had a load of money sat up there because, sorry, yeah, that's where I keep my cash. I was like, it's okay, it's fine. But keep it out of the way, mate, because if I didn't take them grills off and just took the extractor fan down, I would have thrown that in the bin with the extractor fan. So yeah, people do stash money in their house in all different places. Not everyone has a safe. But it's when you get a relationship with the customer, when they trust you in your house, they don't care. They know they've got money stashed all over the place or money laying on the side or whatever. They don't care. They know no one's going to take it, and they trust you not to take it as well when they invite them in. Then they invite you into their house because they think, yeah, you might be money laying around, but you're not going to put it in your pocket. Like this happened just the other day. I went round to give someone a quote, and he accepted the quote and said, "There we go, Ben. There's a number for the key safe. Get in the key safe, help yourself in the house, and do the work." And the thing is, when I went round to the house, I wasn't even working in the house. I was working in the garden in the summer house. So I had to give him a call anyway. I say, look, mate, where is the key to the summer house? Because I don't want to be rooting around your house trying to find it. Luckily, in the end of the day, we found it in the utility room. But I don't want to go through people's drawers. I feel rude doing it. It feels bad sort of thing, rooting through people's houses to try and find maybe a key or anything like that. So I'd rather him tell me where it is. So then, just in case they've got maybe a camera or something set up in the house. I always think this. If I go to a new customer or someone I haven't seen for a little while, I always think, right, they might have a camera up in their house keeping an eye on me. And I don't blame them. That's fine. Keep an eye on their house. They've got a tradesman in there. They want to make sure that he's maybe doing a good job or not leaving it unlocked or not leaving the cat out or anything like that, or letting the cat out even. So they might have a camera in the house. So I make sure that I'm 100% neat and tidy. Because if you ruin that trust with your customer or with a customer, they're never going to let you in that house again. They're never going to leave the key out for it to be convenient for you to do the job, because it is convenient. Say they're away for the day, they're at work all day. They don't have to have a day off. It's very convenient with a lot of customers I know. They just give me the key to the house and I go in there and do whatever I need to do. And it's very convenient as well, because a lot of the time electricians, they have the power off, so there's no point in the customer being there, especially if he works from home, because you turn the power off, the internet goes off, the sockets go off, everything goes off anyway. It's just nicer when you can knock the whole board off, crack on, do what you're doing, test it all, trip in the RCDs 5 or 6 times to make sure it all works, and then leave the property after you've done your work, rather than having to say, look, is it all right if I switch off now? Do you make sure you save anything on your computer? Have you got a Zoom call or a business meeting or anything that you need to attend before I switch the power off? So when you go into a house, especially a new customer's house, Make sure you're nice and polite. Make sure your feet aren't covered in mud, or you wipe your feet on the way in, and you just respect that guy's house. Guys or girls, sorry, house. Because, yeah, you never know whether they've got a camera up there. I do know someone that caught a carer because they had a camera in there filming their mother because they didn't trust the carer. Well, the carer was rude to the mum and they caught him on camera. That camera was hidden-ish. Well, if you look for it, you could see it. If you know where to look, you could see it. But that camera was just strategically, I can't even say it, but it was placed on the mother to see what was going on. And they got found out. So some people do. They have hidden cameras in their house where they want to sort of keep an eye on their property. It's their beloved belongings, man. I'd be the same. If you want someone that you don't necessarily know too much in your house, then yeah, you put a camera up. It's your right to do it. It's inside your house. You can film someone doing what they want. You might just want to film them to make sure they've done a good job and see how they did it. I don't know, but people put cameras inside the house for all sorts of reasons. And to keep an eye on a tradesman is a pretty good reason, I reckon. But I suppose this does work both ways. If you're going to go around a customer's house and you agree on a price, but then when the job's all done and they've added you putting up 2 or 3 or more lights, they say, all right, I'm going to knock you down. And they knock you down and say, you said 500 quid, can I give you 450? You're like, hang about, we agreed on the price. That winds me up. Like, if we agree the price, you pay the price. Don't try and knock me down when it's done. Try and knock me down before we actually do it and we can agree on the price that way. Don't try and knock me down when the actual work's done, because there's no chance of it happening. I don't want to get into an argument with you. I told you the price. Let's agree it and let's go our separate ways, because you guarantee I won't come back again after that. But when customers they're sort of dubious about tradesmen because of these stories that I know, because of these stories that I've heard, then I understand it. There is a lot of cowboy or rogue traders out there. And there's so many of them, they ruin their house and take their money and run. But there's other ones as well that sort of just maybe in a difficult place at the time, and they take the mick a little bit. And there was another guy. I know who it was, but I ain't going to say any names because I like the lad. He's a good lad. But he did a job for somebody. It was meant to be going around there doing the boarding or plastering, something like that. But instead, he used that house as somewhere he could call in on the way home to get a shower. But he didn't just get a shower. He quickly nipped in there and had a number 2 in his toilet as well, and had a shower and used his toothbrush. You couldn't make it up. Who the hell uses a customer's toothbrush? I didn't believe it when I heard it. I laughed out loud, obviously. LOL, whatever it is. But it was funny. I can't believe this guy went in there, used his toothbrush when he's meant to be doing the work. He gave him the key to obviously go in there and do the work for him. And he was going to pay him. But he just used it as a stopgap and had a shower and stuff in the house. That is just crazy. It's something you wouldn't dream of. You wouldn't expect a tradesman give you the key. Right, I need some work done. Here's a key. Do the job, mate. But no, you come home and they're in your shower, and just freshening up, and not even after been doing any work. Just a bit crazy. But unfortunately, it is. It's these guys that give the tradesmen a bad name, because they do take the mick a little bit. So these tradesmen, yeah, they're cheeky, and they take the mick, maybe drink their drink and use their toothbrush, which is pretty cheeky. But what about the guys that rip people off? The rogue traders. These sort of people boil my blood. But this is where customers can learn, don't pay a tradesman the complete amount up front. I do a lot of work for a lot of people, and by now they sort of trust me. So they say, Ben, do you want the money up front? Ben, do you want the money up front? I'm like, no, don't worry about it. I get stuff on account, so I've not paid for it just yet. So don't pay me all the money now. Sometimes when the job is sort of 99.9% complete, I'll take 75% of the payment. But I say to them, don't pay me the full amount. Because I'll be honest with you, there's no incentive for me to come back. You don't owe me any money. If there's just a light switch I've got to put on or a downlight I've got to put in, I will put it on the back burner. And it's just subconsciously for me, I always tell a customer that. I say, right, don't pay me the lot, because there's no incentive for me to come back. So I need something for me to want to come back. So maybe there's a couple of £100 left over. Keep that couple of £100, and then I'll come back and prioritise putting your light in, because I think I'm going to get £200 for putting a light in. So, yeah, that's maybe something that just what I do. But yeah, I don't like getting paid completely the full amount up front, because that's the sort of incentive. When you get finished the job, you get paid. Second fix, done and dusted, tested, done. That's what I like to do. That's normally how I work, and I think that it works out for me, because over the years I do assume that the customers appreciate that, appreciate my honesty. I'm being a cheeky git maybe sometimes, but it works. And that is one of the jobs as a tradesman that we've got to do. We've got to keep the customers happy. At the end of the day, they're the guys that pay us. They keep our wages. They keep us going in a way, keep us growing our business. Even if you don't like them customers, even if they stink, even if the house is a mess, if they're willing to pay you and you do a good job, then you're going to get repeat business from their customers. They're going to recommend you to their family and friends, and it's going to excel that way. So keeping in contact with your customers to make sure that you're at the top of their mind when anyone's talking about electrician in the workplace, electrician at family dues. When electrician comes into the conversation, your name wants to be the one they think of. So this is why I keep in contact with the email nails. It's like a newsletter, just to let them know what new technologies on the market, what I've maybe been up to that they think, oh yeah, I could have that. The best one I've done is the USB sockets. I've done it years ago. I've done it a couple of times now, where I say, check out these USB sockets. They can easily be replaced. And you go around there, you put a few USB sockets in, and the customers are well happy, because everything's USB now. Everything charges up via USB. You don't necessarily need a 13 amp socket to plug into everything. It's normally the USB one, especially with your iPhone, your Apple Watch, and things like that. And even the other day, actually, as well, I had someone phone me up saying, look, Ben, I need to change this USB socket to USB-C, because they've got a new iPhone, and Apple charger, for the iPhone was different. So they needed different sockets. It's how it works. You get more work the more the technology evolves. So keep customers in the loop with what technology is out there and what you can do for them with email nails. I'll leave a little video in the description about the email nails, what I use to keep in contact with customers, so you can check it out too. So until next time, I'll see you again.